Hello students, in today's class I'll be dealing with the topic called water potential, which comes under unit 1 of the plant water relationships of your paper 5. Water potential and its components is a topic which belongs to majorly considering the factors of the thermodynamics and thermochemical data. And here we will be learning about which factors and which are the components involved in the movement of water. That's what the basic idea about our discussion on the water potential. So it is a chemical gradient, chemical potential, or it is a chemical ability due to their nature. Whatever we have studied, the maybe osmosis, maybe diffusion, maybe imbibition, or the solubility property of becoming a universal solvent, all those properties of water will cumulatively result into the movement of water in a living organism. So how does it works? So let us consider a small example before we dig into the main concept. Imagine there is a beaker which is empty before adding water, right? So in an empty beaker, according to its capacity, let us consider it may be a 250 ml capacity beaker. So in this particular beaker, we can add water up to 250 ml, right? So suppose if you add some amount of water, what happens? So some certain amount of water will be filled, so that water is called as initial water level. So out of 250 ml, the initially added water, so further if you want to add water, you cannot add 250 ml of water, but we can add only remaining amount of water. So what happens here? There will be a particular capacity of the water. So only it can have the water, it reaches, still it reaches its the edges. If you add more than that, what happens? The water will spill off. Very simple concept. So this particular beaker here is considered as a system, and within that system the contents matter can exchange up to the capacity of the system. This is one core idea. Let us take one more example for the same. Let us imagine there is a cupboard containing 25 5 into 5 25 chambers. How many things we can add into this cupboard or these boxes? Only 25. That is the maximum capacity of this. So if nothing is added at the initial stage, this particular boxes or this particular chamber will have its maximum potential to occupy maximum number of items within that. Suppose 5 balls have been placed, then what happens? Its capacity to accumulate more amount will reduce to the only 20 can be added later. So like that it keep on decreases, and once it reaches a saturation, further we cannot add any further ingredients. This is a simple concept of water. So it is the capacity to build, capacity to do the work, and if the same capacity is shown by the water, then it is called as water potential. So water potential is the capacity to do the work by water molecules. What is the work done by water? As we know that water, whatever we have listed in our biological properties, acting as a mediator for reactions, acting as a reactant for the biochemical reactions, acting as a solvent for the chemical reactions, acting as a medium of information, or a medium for the reactions, whatever it is, those properties what we have listed, significances, all those comes under work. Because if it has to attain those capacities, it should be able to do those works, do those activities, and that is called as water potential in a very simplest manner. So I hope you have understood the basic idea about water potential. Okay, now let us understand its technical terminologies. The water potential, same concept what we have studied in the previous slide, we will study it into the little bit technically. So basically, first thing what we should know the definition of water potential. And definition of water potential is, it is the difference between the free energy of water molecules in pure water and the free energy of any solution. So as pure water is a empty chamber, or pure water is equal to empty beaker, the cell or the water will is not contaminated, or water is not associated with any other molecules, so it will have maximum capacity to do the work, and it is the free energy of any solution difference. So any solution refers to the water which is mingled with the different other components. So water potential mathematically expressed as the sum of three potential, and water potential is also called as chemical potential, and water potential is denoted with a symbol of Greek, it is called as psi, psi, and psi w refers to the water potential, and it is a sum total of solute potential, that is psi s, pressure potential psi p, and matrix potential psi w. So it is sum total of all the three potentials. So mathematically you have to express water potential as psi w is equal to psi s plus psi p plus psi m, where psi w refers to water potential, psi s refers to solute potential, and psi p refers to pressure potential, psi w refers to matrix potential. What does it mean for us? What are these different terminologies? We will study one by one. So solute potential refers to the effect of solutes on water potential. So different solutes, maybe salts, maybe sugars, which are produced, which are transported across the cell, or within with the help of cells, or symplastic or apoplastic movement of all these structures within inside the cell will have effect on the movement of water, because water always moves from its higher concentration to its lower concentration. So osmotic potential is having, or it is also called as solute potential or osmotic potential, OP. It is very important term which we are going to explore in further classes. So it refers to the effect of solutes on water potential. Then what is pressure potential? As we know that plant cell is composed of two very important protective layers called as, one is outermost cell wall, which is a rigid structure, non-living, so it's considered as non-living structure of the cell, and inside to that there is a plasma membrane. So what happens? Cell wall doesn't change its structure. It is a very rigid structure, whereas plasma membrane and protoplast, what we call it as, it is subject to the components of water, all those things. So it may bulge, it may flat. Plasmolyze based on the availability of water. So it is the hydrostatic pressure, and the volume is based on the pressure component also, right? So inflating the balloon, so only when the pressure air goes inside, the balloon inflates. When it comes out, balloon becomes flattened. So like that the pressure potential works, and it is also called as Turgor pressure or TP. And matrix potential is the adsorption affinity to the colloidal substances in the plant cells. That means plant is not having only solubilized components. Depending on the conditions, depending on the reactions, depending on the byproducts of the different biochemical reactions, plant cell will collect, or plant cell will contain different types of substances. Among them there will be substances which are not soluble in the water, but they will show adsorption affinity and they form colloidal substances, and it's also called as imbibition, and this is called as matrix potential. But in generally matrix potential will be very negligible in plant cells in the terrestrial general physiological conditions, whereas OP or solute potential and pressure potential plays a very important role to govern the water potential. So the free energy of water molecule will be more when the solute potential and pressure potential are more, and it will be less when they are less. That means addition of solutes to the water will decrease their water potential. Increasing in the pressure, that means more inflated cell will decrease its water potential. So all these are the some of the factors which we have to consider. So what are the significances of water potential? So transport water to the leaves to perform photosynthesis. So that is a very important component. So because in photosynthesis water act as a reactant, it is not any medium or that. Well, in photosynthetic reaction water is a reactant, and it should be available for the leaf in the right time, in right quantity, and that particular work will be done by the water potential mechanism which is existing in the plants. And water moves from higher water potential to the lower water potential. This is the direction always, just like any osmotic or a diffusing physical concepts. Water potential also obeying that particular concept of the nature or law of nature, and this is what we should understand. And water potential is negative in normal condition. This is very important, and you should remember this in a very proper manner, because pure water will be having maximum potential and it is denoted as 0, and any decrease in the potential is will bring negativity, and water potential is considered as negative. And water movement from soil to root is due to less water potential of the root. So where only water will move inside the root, so very important for a plant. So roots should contain less water potential. So more salts, more solutes should be present inside the root than on the soil. And solute potential is a negative entity. Pressure potential should be positive entity, whereas solute potential should be negative entity, and together they should form water potential as a negative entity. So with these inputs, I hope I'll complete today's topic, and this particular topic was useful to you. Thank you for listening.